Okay, so now we have this huge unfolded bag. So what we're going to do is, the obvious thing is we're going to do the side seams. So let's start with one, and what you need to do is match up the top corners first. And this isn't something you can do without any clips. You need to use clips for this bit, most definitely. So we're just going to go all the way down, and you will find that the bottom corners match as well, because you haven't actually stitched the bottom corners, because you've stitched kind of up to 3/8 of an inch away from them. Now you can either pin and clip, or clip all of the sides and do them all at once, or you can do them one at a time. I will do this one and show you how we do it. So having clipped it, we're now going to stitch it using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And I always try and stitch from the top down. I usually try and stitch with some thread in the needle, though I find that's so much more efficient. So let's try that again. What I will say is I clipped the straps out of the way. When you get to stitching the sides to the back, you've got to be very careful that you don't go through your straps, because that would be a disaster. As you come down towards the base, don't be frightened to flatten your bag out. This has got foam in it, and the foam will allow it to bounce back into shape. I'm going to do the second side on this side. Again, I'm matching the top corners up first, and then coming down, matching the bottom corners as well. To stitch down there using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance in exactly the same way as I did just now, and you're going to do that on all four. I think we may have bobbin thread, she says with great confidence. No, maybe I haven't. Just didn't want to pick up the threads. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Again, we're stitching at a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. All of these side seams are stitched at 3/8. Again, don't be afraid to flatten your bag down so that you can get to it. Don't let it be in charge of you. And then in exactly the same way as we have been doing previously, remove the basting stitches and then remove the foam. If you've used fabric for your exterior, you can press these seams open. If you've used faux leather, that's just not going to happen, so don't worry about it. You can't press faux leather. But if you've used fabric, you can press the seams open, and it will help the way the bag looks when you're finished. It'll give nice sharp corners. I'm just going to trim out the foam from both sides of the seam. Because I've got faux leather on my sides, I'm not going to be able to press these open. Let's just remove the basting stitches from this side as well. Want to come out. The one thing I wouldn't advise for this bag is to use a fusible foam. I don't like fusible foam anyway. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but for this, in this application, fusible foam would actually be a hindrance because you can't cut it out from the apertures, which means you're going to end up with foam showing on the front of your bag. So a non-fusible foam is definitely the way forwards. So let's just trim off the foam from this side as well, and then I'll turn it in the right way and show you how it looks. Obviously normally I would do all four corners, all four sides, but you don't need to see me doing all four of them. You just need to see one end really, because the other end's done in exactly the same way. So there we are. Now these bottom corners, you have a little bit of bulk there, so just trim that off. Don't go through your stitching. You can see it's just a little corner, and just trim it away, and that will help the corners sit nicely. Now I'm just going to turn this end in the right way. So we have another end that needs to be made still. And you can see there that that's looking really sharp. That bottom is lovely and defined because of the extra stitching that we do. And it's just really smart. So I'm going to carry on and do the other two sides, join the other two sides to the front and back panel, trim out all that foam, and our exterior is done.